Okay, today's Thursday, 6:59 p.m. What I noticed about what I noticed about what I noticed about trading, uh, left to my own vice and without critical feedback from the outside world. When I was working, when I was working in the industry, feedback was critical in shaping the output that I was creating. And therefore, I had to meet the criterias of the external world in order to receive a paycheck. As I came back from the pizza buffet and I parked my car, I realized the time that it was. It was sort of lunchtime because the restaurant was open at that time. And so it matched up with that time. And then I thought to myself, being a self-employed person, I can go to lunch anytime I want. Then also it hit me the duality of running a business. Okay? Running a business means I have to make money, right? It's not a hobby. So when people say people people make a statement like, okay, you want to trade as though you are running a business. You're not operating a hobby where you're dumping money into the situation. You're running a business. So I have to make a profit, okay? So I have to do certain things that makes it into a profitable business. And so it got my mind thinking in a way, right? So then for the past now, recently I'm becoming more aware of I'm becoming more aware of myself. Uh, Psychologically speaking, if I look in the mirror, there are things probably I don't recognize. Okay, there are things. I saw this movie called The Sixth Sense, and this Bruce Willis uh, is the ghost, and he was following around this little boy, right? And so people are not aware of who they are until somebody tells them that you are a ghost, okay? You are a zombie. You don't know. You don't know until somebody points that out to you. You just tag along and then you just can't see it. You don't know what you don't know. So then recently for the past week, I was in something called a triality of consciousness. Not the duality of consciousness, but a triality of consciousness. Okay, so there's in traditional computing, there's a they call it a combinational. Traditional computing is based on combinational logic. Okay, combinational logic. Combinational logic fundamentally is based on zeros and ones, two states. Okay, two states. Combinational logic is based on two states. Okay, I read the Bible 9 times from cover to cover. Okay, so there, so 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 when I look upon that, there has always been a dialogue of, there has always been a imprint of, there has always been a imprint of the Holy Spirit and God. Okay, the Father. Okay, Holy Spirit and the Father. The Spirit and the Father has always been there, with the Father creating in the beginning. Okay, in the beginning, right? God created everything, right? So there's the beginning of God. Okay, there's God created everything, right? So there's a duality that has existed in the Old Testament, which is the Holy Spirit and God. And then on the New Testament, the Son arises. Christ comes down to earth to make himself visible to mankind. Okay? So there's a triality. There's the Son, there's the Father, and the Holy Spirit. Whereupon the, I mean, it's the Spirit hovered around Earth. I mean, that's what they talk about, right? I think that's how it's. I have to. So so there's a triality, which is a complementary complementary way the compendium, the completion of the Bible has been comprised, right? So for the past, for me, for the past 1 month, okay, and I got into this groove. I got into this groove where I had like three of them. Initially, it was difficult to start out with, but I was in my old game. I was in my old game, but I entered into a new game where I discovered something where I was riding the trend, and riding the trend for the couple weeks was resulting in a vastly superior gains with less effort because all I had to do was park it and ride the trend and let the trend take care of itself. Okay. Then all of a sudden, then all of a sudden, the forex pairs, despite the fact that the U.S. market is increasing, the forex pairs were declining. Okay, something forex pairs with the U.S. Denomination. Okay, all right, was declining, and so everything was red, especially something that was paired with the USD. Okay, with the USD and the other foreign pair paired together, right? And so all the other currencies were increasing, but the USD was decreasing, right? And so I found myself making significant progress by passing the phase one, by riding this trend, okay, by using a new method of my trading. And then I realized that I was like pigeonholed into thinking that, okay, my success was riding the trend. And I'm looking at this UC, okay, USD, CHF, okay, right? CHF, right? And so I'm looking at that, and it started to go down for like 2 to 3 days. It's 3 days. It started to take my uh, all the gains that I had and just erased everything, right? It just erased everything that I did and took all three of my. It breached all three of my accounts because I was locked in. I was locked in to this belief that this pair UC USD CHF is going to reverse and it's going to help me gain. Okay, gain it back. That's what my mindset was. But I pay for it. I was I was like I was like uh I was like bottom picking and bottom picking for the past 3 days, and I started losing. Okay, I completely set aside the strategy that I had. Okay, the strategy that I had, I completely set aside to use a very lazy method of riding the trend, but I was mistakenly riding the wrong trend. I was looking for a reversal where the reversal was never coming back. Okay? Okay? I mean, it was on its way to go down, 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 down. Apparently, the US market has been going up 4 days out of 5 days. Okay? So for the past 3 days, I've been losing and losing and losing and losing because I, I embedded myself into a novice way of thinking. I entered into what a novice trader would do: park the money without doing too much work. But in reality, if the trend was working for me, I would make money where the sawtooth rising occurs. And then as soon as the trend moves, but my mind is locked in, it cannot change. Psychologically, it will not change. And then it started to market started to go the other way, but my mind still kept doing it, keeping the hopes up. Hope is up, it's down, it's got to go back up. And then the next day it goes down more. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, now that it's like twice as lower, it's got to. But the reality is, if it goes down, it's going to keep going down. It's going to keep going down. It's going to keep going down. Okay, that's the reality of trading. That's that's the reality of the market. It just never occurred to me. That's why it's best to look for something that is trending in the direction that you want to trade. Don't look for something. It's great that you're in there at the first time to take it, but as a novice trader anyway, even if you get in, as soon as it goes up a little bit, you get exit anyway, right? So it's best. So I got to write this down. I'm discovering something new. Okay. So I'm writing something that I know for sure in my mind. Okay, my mind, despite the fact that the market is telling me, hey, I'm going down. But my mind is saying, I know you're going down, but that's better for me going the other way because as soon as I get in, it's going to reverse. That's the thinking that I had, which is it's a total fallacy in thinking. So quantum computing is a difference departure from is a departure from combinational logic, combinational computing, which is zeros and ones. There's only two states that occurs. If it changes to any other state, it's a hardware error, okay, or a software error, and the computer will crash because it doesn't know what to do with it. But uh, but quantum computing has a third state, okay? It's a third state. It has a third state, 0, 1, and something else. It has a third state. And that third state allows, at the same time, it can be 0 and a 1 at the same time. I don't know how that works, but it can be a 0 and a 1 at the same time, okay? It can be a 0 and a 1 at the same time. Psychologically speaking, I can explain that out, okay? It made sense to me, right? It made sense to me. So in quantum trading, okay, it's in quantum trading, it is a additive addition to the combinational logic of the market, okay? So the combinational logic of the market essentially is the market is doing something as is. The market is the truth. It is telling the story. It is saying this is what is happening in the market. It is the factual, the absolute factual relevant information that is being displayed by the market. The market is the de facto truth. Then the mind has its own state of being. It interprets it. It looks at it. As long as my conclusion after analysis of the market matches up, then that's good. Then I can make the appropriate decisions and take the appropriate action in order to steer my business in the right direction. But the reality is my mind has its own way of interpreting the data, and either out of ignorance, okay, and the other very, very dangerous part is extrapolating and getting into a fantasy land of creating this false hope into something that is occurring, and it is beaten down. It is a confused mind making a determination of what's going to happen. Okay, that's the alternate universe of the mind. Okay, so there are two states, right? Then there's the subconscious side, which is the quantum part, quantum aspects of trading, which can fall either into the physical reality of what's going on and the dream world and my interpretation of the mind. As long as my mind is in step with the reality of the market, then I have a chance to make good trades. That's the right way to trade. Because my mind is in alignment with the market. But there is this third part of it, which is a self-locking mechanism that people talk in movies and all psychological terminology. The psychologist soon as they see the patient, they ask, okay, so you have childhood, what is it called, like attachment issues or something like that, right? So apparently something in a psychological makeup locks away certain pieces of information that you don't even know about. Okay, you're not conscious of. It's there, but is you're the brain has been programmed and it's been locked away. It's like a locked box, and it will not open even if you spent the past 5 years just yesterday studying and studying and studying. That information will not unlock. It will not unlock. It'll stay there because of the psychological quantum trading effect. I call it the quantum trading. It's a quantum trading mind. Okay, it's a quantum trading mind, and what it does is, for instance, okay, I've been studying our books for the past 2 to 3 years. Okay, I paid $399 and I bought his program. And I've been studying it each and every day to a point where I look at it now and go, oh, that's what he's talking about. Okay, that's what he's talking about. Yeah, I know what's in it. I know what he's talking about. Okay. So I know what he's talking about. Okay. Maybe I haven't looked deeper enough to take notes of what he's really saying, but I know what he's talking about. I went through it. I listened through it. I reviewed his materials not just once, but multiple times of listening to what he says. Okay, I remember specific points about what he's talking about. Okay, so he essentially is describing the market. He essentially is teaching me what the market is doing. He's showing me. He's walking me. He's hand in hand showing me what. Now that I'm talking about it, I'm beginning to discover what he's really doing. So what he's doing is he's going by candle by candle, showing me what the market is doing, showing me what the market is, how the market is behaving, what the meaning behind the movements in the market, and he's showing me every aspects of trading. But there is this psychological makeup. Okay, there's a psychological lock, which is the quantum effect. There's a quantum effect of trading. Okay, quantum effect of trading. Okay, this part of it I discovered. This week. Okay, because I was locked in. I was locked in from doing something that I'm obviously in the business of trading, and the business of trading is making money. But I was locked away. I was locked out of taking appropriate action because I needed permission. I needed permission to use the information that I've acquired, but because I did not have permission to use the information to 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 improve my business, I kept losing. And so I thought to myself, I asked myself tearfully, mind you, tearfully, because I was like aggravated. I was in agony. I was like, what am I doing? I passed the phase one. It took me a month. It took me a month to get to this point, and my psychologically, I'm like locking myself from doing what I'm supposed to be doing because I'm trying to be cautious. And the other part is I'm not utilizing all the information that I've learned from spending my own hard-earned money to acquire new information, because there is this one part of me, the subconscious side, was hiding something from me. Okay? The subconscious side was literally hiding something from me. What was the subconscious hiding? It is the lessons that I've learned from training myself, because I know that it doesn't make any sense at all, but it does. It does make sense. The reason why it does make sense is, here's why. I paid $399 for Al Brooks' training course, but on a righteous side, I don't want to take his information and then publicly launder it. Okay? I don't want to show his lessons, because it's his lessons. It's his knowledge. It's not my knowledge. Okay? It's his knowledge. But I being the righteous person, I cannot use his information to make money because I will be disclosing. I would be disclosing his information that he's selling. Okay? And when I talk or do things, I'm publicly releasing information, his information, free. Okay? But the righteous side does not want me to do that. The righteous side locked me away. It forbade me from using the lesson that I paid money to do to progress in the trading business that I have. Essentially, I pay for a business, I pay for a lesson, but I cannot use it because of this stupid, very, very stupid righteous thinking that's in my mind. There's no way to hide the lessons that I've learned. Okay? But I will not publicly go out and divulge every piece of information that he's teaching. But there's no way to hide the results of the lessons that I'm learning from his program. There's no way to do that. But psychologically, on a quantum level, okay, on a quantum level, was locking me away. It forbade me. It hid me. It put me in a cell box. It put me in a uh, it put me in a isolation chamber, okay, from using his training because of that righteous self-conscious thinking. It's a psychological thing that's been embedded into my mind. That's why when psychologists, these doc medical these mental doctors sit in front of you, they know that a lot of information, like the iceberg, is embedded in your brain. It is impacting how you behave, the decisions you make, the things that you like, the things that you dislike. All these things are hidden away, locked away in your subconscious mind. These psychiatrists know that. They know that your childhood experiences shapes the way that you live each and every day, right? Each and every day. You don't even know it. You don't even know on a combinational level of zeros and ones how it's impacting your life. That's why you go to a psychiatrist and say, hey, look, I'm doing certain things, but I just can't explain it. And the psychiatrist is saying this: here's the reason why you're doing it. You have repressed memory. It is a quantum part of it is a quantum component of your mind that is driving the way that you live your life each and every day, because that you haven't programmed. It is a subconscious part of you. It is a subconscious part of you guiding you in the direction of your daily life. That is something that I discovered, and I was unable to make the right trades this week, and I discovered this. I discovered this today, this week, and it is a extremely, extremely critical component of trading right. The facts are out there, okay? The reality is out there. The reality is there is a quantum component of trading. There is a quantum component which is a self-limiting component of trading, and I have to break free from that. I hope nobody's here. Am I too loud? Nobody's here. It's almost 8 o'clock. Okay. So where was I? Okay, so there is this self there's a quantum component. There's a quantum component of trading that I discovered this week, which was essentially locking me away from trading correctly. And people go to see a psychiatrist because they have certain thoughts, certain depressions, and they want the assistance of the psychiatrist to help them to discover how they can fix this about myself or themselves, right? Because it is a psychological component that they cannot fix, because something in the mind is constantly causing the mind to think in that manner, to put in a state of, for instance, depression, right? And so, in order to get out of that situation, a psychiatrist is able to maneuver around it, provide tools in order to change the things. But one of the components that 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 contributes to that mental state is what happened in your childhood. Your childhood, that childhood in the psychological mind is the quantum effect of trading. That quantum effect of trading, which happened to me, which was repressing everything that I've learned from Al Brooks trading, is that I was repressing his information, because I was so righteous. I was so righteous that I could not divulge the lesson that I was learning from him. Because when I am making these videos, I don't want to disclose his lessons, because it is his lessons that he's using to make money off of. And if I disclose his lessons, then I'm undermining his program to teach people how to make money from the market. But the reality is, I cannot hide it, because I have to use it. When I use it, the way that I talk, the way that I make money from the market is a direct translation of his knowledge. And so that is the quantum component. That is the quantum component, which essentially is the subconscious side of me that is limiting me. It is locking me from making money from the market. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe. That's what I was doing. So sometimes what I will do is I'll lock myself in. It's like, okay, so here's how the market programs me into sticking with something that works for a little bit, which is the novice way, going back to it because my mind loves it, because it's the lazy way of making money. I don't have to do much. All I have to do is park it, let it ride. But the reality is, when I do that, then my trend has to be right, and I have to be willing to switch. I have to be willing to switch when that changes. But the mind doesn't have that mechanism to change. Okay? It's going down, but it's saying, oh, it went down, it's going to come back up. It's going to be even better. But the reality is, the next day it's going to go down. And by this time, the whole account's been breached. All the money's gone. And it'll keep going down, because that's how the market works. Okay? And so there is a repression of the mind that causes me to think in a way. It programs me into a lazy way of, and making me into converting back to the novice way of trading, which is parking it but not doing anything about it. And then once the market changes, it starts to take it away. But that novice mindset just keeps holding on to it and makes it worse and worse and worse. So it's correct to switch to my thinking into making money in a certain way, along with matching the way that the market performs itself, such that when it's good to park my money, when the trend is on my way, then I can take it. But as soon as the trend changes conversely to the way that I'm thinking, because the market will do that, it'll go up, it'll go down. Okay, but my mind cannot wrap that around to make it to figure this out. And so ultimately, When I'm in agony of losing everything and questioning my own existence, then I finally figure out, hey, what I'm doing is not sustainable. It cannot be sustained. And so the reality is, it programmed me into thinking that what I was doing as a novice trader was working. And I continued to that until my accounts were breached. Then today, I bought a new challenge and I reverted back to the tried and true method that I've cultivated for many years. And sure enough, it has results. The market has a way of, it has a quantum effect. It has a quantum effect of altering my mind into doing things because I have not solidified my understanding of what the market is as a professional. It is still in a form of dynamics. If I'm sitting in front of a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist is a professional who knows the mind. But when I'm sitting paying a $100 or $200 a session, I am a novice psychiatrist trying to learn from what the psychiatrist is telling me. That's what the market is. And I'm liable to be imprinted with the thoughts and the actions of the market. And therefore, I carry that program into my trading. And if I am not aware of its impacts, then I will put it into my subconscious and trade that way, which is essentially is the quantum effect aside from the zeros and ones of the combinational computing. All right. And so I've noticed this week that I latch my mind into trading, which it is a detriment to my trading. And I have to be ever vigilant about me in the presence of the market in order to keep myself out of that situation. Okay? I have to do that. In order for me to make money and keep my money, that's what I need to do. Okay? So now, so the goal is essentially has been, which I was trying to do last week, okay, and the week before, which was positive, which essentially is to make 2% per day. That's a familiar ring that I should be constant because it detaches me from the trend. It from a long trend. It detaches me. It does not lock me in to it does not lock me into trading like being lazy because I have to actively work at it. I have to actively be engaged in the market and then actively get information from the market to make my decision. Okay, essentially what I have to do is enter back into the combinational logic of trading instead of and escaping the tendency for me to be uh, subconsciously locked into the quantum effect of trading. Okay, I would have done. See, I can tell based on what I'm doing now. So what I did was I freed myself. I learned things from Mel Brooks. I have now freed myself, unlocked. I have unlocked myself from not using Al Brooks trading. Okay, so yesterday I went back after losing these challenges and I bought it and I went back to the chart and I'm seeing things now. I'm seeing what the chart is telling me. So what the chart is telling me right now is this. Okay, the chart now I have freed myself. I am free. Okay, I am free. Okay, I'm looking at this apple cider pills that I got from Costco and it says free of. I am free. Okay, and I'm free. I have been unchained. So now my mind is fully capable and have the license to use Al Brooks trading course, to in the effort of making money. Okay, in the effort of making money is this. Okay, the market will do something. It'll go up and it'll go down. Okay, there will be a long trend. There will be a short trend. Dynamically speaking, what it will do is on a short time frame, it has less predictability because because the length of the candle is very difficult to predict. Okay, it is true with a long chart as well, but there is a familiar footprint of its primary direction based on however size the candle is. It's showing, it's disclosing its direction. So it's showing it. That's what Al Brooks is talking about. He's talking about that. He's showing. Okay, there are various lessons that he's talking about. He talks about support and resistance. He talks about major trend reversals. He talks about continuations. He talks about breakouts. He talks about all these things. He talks about H1, H2, H3, H4, L1, L2. He has specific information. He talks about gaps. Okay, gaps, and his own definition of what a gap is. Right? He talks about these things. And then he goes into other programs as well. He essentially talks about what he talks about several other things, right? Uh, there's a few things that he talks about. I can pull it up and I can talk about it, but that's what he talks about. He talks about these things that I can use in the market. So he talks about trading math. Okay, there's math. Okay, and I also bought his encyclopedia of trading, so I can look at that and see how the market behaves. And so there are other pieces of information. All right. So just like today, the um, so currently the Nasdaq and the Dow Jones have been climbing 4 out of 5 days. So what that means is when something is in a bullish trend, what it would do is even if there's a pullback, that pullback is short and limited. So there is a higher tendency for these pullback to reclaim its high and keep up with its bullish trend. And so entering and grabbing onto that reversal is a great idea at that instant where the trend is moving up. But if the major trend is going down, it's you don't want to do that because it's called a falling knife, and every little pull down, it's meant to go down even further. So the reality of quantum effect of trading has limited, and it changed my mind, reprogrammed my mind into trading in a manner where I'm supposed to lose. Okay, that's the way. That's how I have been programmed for the past week or two, and so I reverted back into losing instead of trading my own game. Instead of trading my own game, I was trading the market's game. Even the market's game, if I'm astute, I should be able to make money from that because I should be able to look at it and and essentially and essentially become aware of the tendencies of the market so that I can switch when the market switches, okay? Not be railroaded in so so what happened to me is this UC was going up, okay? Actually it was down, and it so I got into the bottom of it, and I'm thinking, okay, so I'm at a bottom where there's a significant amount of support, and I relied on that support to make money off of it. So I got into it, and it jumped up a little bit. When it jumps up a little bit each time before it comes back to the support area, I can make money off of it. I was successful for a few days. That's the lazy thing of thinking, because I'm thinking to myself, it'll never change. It's going to be that way. It's going to be that way, and that support will never be broken. But the support does break, okay? And that's when I lose massively, like 4% per day, each day. And as soon as it breaches one leg, it breaches the other leg, it breaches the other leg. And when that happens, the hard-earned money is gone, okay? That's how it works. So to sum this up, okay, this week I unchained myself so that now I'm free to use Al Brooks' trading course the way that I picked up, okay? The righteous side will not feed me. The righteous side is like saying this, okay? So let's say I'm marooned on Mars, and there's one piece of bread, and there's two people, okay? The righteous side will say this: I want you to have this piece of bread so that you can live. And then, because I don't have any food, I will expire. Okay, that's the righteous side. Okay? All right. Now, um, the logical side is this. Okay. The bread that's in my pocket is mine because I saved it. But you ate your bread and there's no food for you. Okay. As God had intended, the food is in my pocket and it is my food. I'm going to live because I'm going to eat that bread. But for you, you don't have any food, so you're going to expire. That's the logical thinking. That's the logical thinking, okay? Not the quantum interlocking self-destructive what is it called? Extinction behavior. That's the self-destroying extinction behavior. Okay, I have a bread that's in my pocket that I saved for just this day so that I can survive longer than you. But you ate everything as fast as you can, and now the music has stopped. Okay, this bread I'm going to consume. I'm not going to give it to you. I'm not the righteous person. I'm just a logical businessman. The logical businessman says the bread that's in my pocket I will eat, so I will survive longer than you. Because you ate all your food, even though we had the equal amount of shares of food. You ate your food already, okay? So that part of it is the quantum effect of trading, and something that I've discovered about myself. I was like, I was essentially locking myself out. I was telling myself because despite the right now I'm homeless, right? I'm homeless. I'm like because this stupid self-righteous thing is causing me to be. I think what's happening is that most homeless people are righteous people, self-righteous people. So here's my conclusion about the homeless people, okay? So I believe there are homeless people out there who are so righteous. So here's the situation. A beggar is willing to stand at a uh corner all day to make 20 bucks, right? You know what the homeless person will do with that 20 bucks? In some cases, some will take that money and go buy beer and cigarettes, okay? Some people will do that. But some people, what they will do is they'll stand out there, they'll stand out there all day in the 100-degree sun. Okay, will collect 20 bucks and go to McDonald's and buy a McDonald's burger meal. Okay, that's what they'll do. All right, but all he had to do was go to McDonald's and say, "Hey, I'm homeless. I need food. Can you give me some food?" Okay, that would have been like a 1 minute work. But certain righteous homeless people like myself will stand out in like dead of 100-degree heat and ask for change so that and I'll hold up a sign that says any amount will help. Okay, I'm homeless. I can talk about this. Okay, I am homeless. I have no money. Okay, I have more debt. I have more debt than I have money. Okay. All right, I am poor, man. I am really, really poor. I can talk about that, right? So what they do is they go stand out in the dead of sun, earn their money, and go to McDonald's and pay for it, right? That's the righteous. They are righteous. They are righteous in their thinking. And that may be the limiting factor. The smart people, okay? The smart people, they have jobs. Okay, they have jobs. They put their own brother into prison so they can keep whatever they have, so they could keep their $5. Okay, I have two siblings who desperately want to keep their estate, and so they were willing to destroy the life. They were willing to destroy the life of their sibling, to keep their money. Okay, they didn't realize they were destroying his family. They destroyed his career. They took everything. Okay? People who are employed, They do that, and then they go to church and they go, "Hey, God, forgive me," and God forgives them, obviously, right? So there's the duality of what's going on, because of the stupid righteous behavior that I have was limiting me, it's locking me, imprisoning me, keeping me in the state. Okay, all I had to do was I paid good money for his lesson. The purpose of Albrook's trading course is for me to learn from it and use it. Okay, when I'm using it, it's unavoidable. It's unavoidable. When I make these YouTube videos, I mention his name. I trade the way that he's taught me, the way that he's publicly disclosed. It is represented. I represent his course. Okay, I cannot hide it. If I hide it, then why did I pay for the course? But there's this stupid righteous thinking that is keeping me poor. I don't want to be poor. I need to get out of this situation. Okay, I want to go into one of those rooms. But in order for me to get into rooms, I have to pass these challenges. After I pass the challenge, then I can get a payout. When I get a payout on a consistent basis, I can afford one of those rooms. Okay? So that when I talk like this, nobody else will be able to nobody will be bothered, okay? The door will be closed, so it'll be a muffled sound, okay? Not like this. All right? So that's the reality of the quantum effect of trading. That's the quantum effect of, I don't know if this makes any sense, but it makes sense to me, okay? The mind is, I'm telling you, the mind, I'm discovering things that, I mean, the mind, but that's probably why they have these psychiatrists who like, apparently you have to get a medical degree first, and then the psychology part of it is additional many years of understanding what the mind does. Okay, that's why these people, that's why I mean, it's amazing what the mind is capable of doing. Okay, it's amazing to the depth of complexity is in the mind. The mind is so complex. Okay, for people who don't pay attention to the capability of the mind, it is it'll lock it takes years to understand it takes years to see the behavior and tie that behavior to a specific psychological terminology. Okay, and that part of it is hand in hand. The subconscious side is essentially called a quantum effect of trading. Essentially, I can sum that up. Okay, and what is that? It just locks your mind. Okay, there's the part that what you see and what you imagine, which is your brain processing that, is the combinational component of it. And then the quantum part is, which is essentially taking on both states at the same time, which is quantum computing, right? So the quantum computing is the subconscious. The subconscious exists, but the subconscious is subconscious because it cannot be used. That's why it's subconscious. But the subconscious, at the same time, even though I don't know about it, is directly impacting my behavior. Okay, that's the quantum component of the mind. All right, it's the quantum component of the mind.